everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Let's take another look here at Solana, see what's going on. We swept a little bit of liquidation here as the price jumped up to 68,000 for Bitcoin, but all these shenanigans with Bitcoin is causing a very unique ripple in the market, for lack of a better term. So if the price had pulled back, we'd probably see range bound between 63.4, 64.5. That's just kind of a heads up on where Bitcoin's at. It's obviously recovered nicely since I looked at it last, but the truth is if it does pull back, we could very well see a problem with a lot of altcoins. So just be mindful that we're not totally out of the clear yet. Bitcoin dominance is just taken off right now, which implies money is coming away from altcoins, going right into Bitcoin. So this is not really a favorable situation for altcoins in general. So I wouldn't recommend a long position just kind of based on that knowledge. But again, I don't generally trade these conditions either. That's just me personally being a little more risk averse. So either way you look at it, we'll look at some key levels, support, resistances, etc. Make sure we know specifically what's going on with Solana, and just make sure we are doing our due diligence. Thank you again so much for hitting the like button on every single video. Deeply appreciate you. And obviously just the continued support. You know who you are. You're awesome. So let's take a look here at the big picture, or start with 7 days first. We can see a lot of liquidation, more so longs at 140 to 145. That's a pretty safe zone. I do not feel we're going to see that pending Bitcoin doesn't make an obnoxious move to the downside. If we can continue to maintain 65, 66K for Bitcoin, I think Solana is going to be just fine. Really, that's kind of the bottom line. It showed a lot of strength in the last 24 to 48 hours, contrary to Bitcoin, and is doing overall pretty well. We still have roughly, it might probably be a little less, but there was around 7 billion in liquidation yesterday at this upper 165 range, but we can see each one of these bars is close to about 700 to 800 million. There's about almost billion. 700 800 billion. There's a lot of liquidation, no matter how you look at it. I'm not wording it correctly, but if you add this all up, there's pretty close to roughly still about 7 billion liquidation to the upside. So it really just implies that there's more potential for that to happen. And we take a look at here, this is all this nonsense that is some pretty interesting stuff, just the way the price wicked up and came back down. Either way, it's very common for Bitcoin before it makes a big move to wipe out late longs and late shorts or just high leverage positions. So I think we're due to see the price probably continue higher at this point, just based on how well it's settled. But at this point, there's nothing too crazy about the delta for longs versus shorts, because obviously the big old reset button got hit. When we look at open interest, we can see 141 is still that common denominator, still very consistent. So the key takeaway here, I think, with Solana is that it's still in decent shape. I'm not super concerned with this correction that we saw here. Unfortunately, it's just really much par for the course. Market makers like, all right, we're just going to go ahead and shake things up today, quite literally. So when we look at the price action here on the daily time frame, this isn't going to reflect anything super substantial. It's just going to confirm the fact that we're still mostly bullish and that we're above specific moving averages. Everything's looking very good here for Solana. Okay, and in fact, we have the price that wicked all the way down here, pretty much held like a champ at that 150 to 152. So that does reaffirm that support level. As expected, I was anticipating the price to pull back and to leg up from there. So we're kind of doing that in a weird and ugly way. All right, so everything's looking good here on the daily, but you're not going to see this massive of a correction on the daily time frame really reflect itself unless the direction is continued. And so far, we're still maintaining this range of 152 to 158. So until we break that, we can kind of presume we're going to stay in this range for a little while. I'm expecting the same behavior for Bitcoin as well. Let me go ahead and remove that little poop emoji, because that's basically what it was when I first looked at it earlier. I'm expecting Bitcoin to maintain 65,000 upwards about 68,000 for the moment. We might range before the next leg up. Again, if that is the case, Solana will probably do the same thing, if not better, because it has held very strong compared to most other coins. A lot of altcoins are suffering today. Solana is kind of breaking even and just slightly in the red, which isn't bad at all. Either way, we are in a sweet spot here with the RSI still looking good. Everything's still okay. MACD is trying to diverge, but hasn't yet. That's perfectly fine. That's good. Kind of letting us know that we never really truly saw that divergence, right? We got this nice little support level here too. So everything, honestly, is pretty much hunky-dory here for Solana, and mainly because Bitcoin has recovered and held its level. So what we want to do is kind of pay attention to the correlation between these two coins. Technically, Solana hasn't recovered quite as strong as Bitcoin has, so there is that. My speculation is that a lot of altcoins are going to do poorly moving forward here, at least next 24 hours, just based on the simple fact that Bitcoin dominance is really high. As Bitcoin goes up, altcoins are going down in general, in the overall sense. So to me, that's not really a great sign. So it would be best to anticipate coins like Solana, SUI, AVAX, a lot of the coins that I regularly cover that are generally strong right now, I would expect them to pull back a little bit just based on the overall sentiment here. But once more, Bitcoin does look like it wants to kind of continue much further up here. It didn't seem to really slow down at this point, so that leads me to believe too that we are probably in pretty good shape in the overall sense. So I don't think the sky's falling. I don't think you need to close all your positions or get too crazy. But I would just pay attention and make sure that if the trade that you have reaches an invalidation level, that you consider closing it. Okay, so just make sure that you're just kind of watching your trades closely right now. If Bitcoin starts running towards 65,000, I think it's a good consideration that altcoins will follow. Okay, so either way you look at it here, when we look at each mobile cloud, it's kind of still pretty messy, but the general consensus is that we're above the cloud here and we're in that little support range, so we're still honoring our ascending type of trend here, and that's a positive sign. So again, nothing has really changed too much since we looked at Solana last. I do still think we're gonna be able to see the 160s here soon, especially if Bitcoin can stabilize. I think Solana will be one of the first few to recover, so it's still looking pretty good in my opinion. All right, so that's pretty much what we got there. I'll clean up our chart, of course, post our playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord, and you can take a look at that. Otherwise, I deeply appreciate you. Look forward to seeing you in the next video. Also, quick heads up, make sure you take advantage of this deposit bonus. It's only available the rest of this month here for Bitunix. I'm mostly speaking to my community members who've already used my link to register, but this is a really good feature here. Definitely check that out. It's awesome stuff. All right, appreciate your time. Look forward to seeing the next one. Have a good rest of your day. Take care.